The largest gun study ever says, as to quote Zach Beaucamp over at Think Progress, more guns, more murder. I live just a few blocks, literally. I mean, we live in the public marina down here in Washington D.C. and the next big marina down, or the next big place where boats tie up down the river, is the Navy Yard, where a shooter with a history of mental illness killed 12 innocent people. Basically, a couple of good guys with guns, to quote Wayne Little Peter. Police officers and security guards, in this case, fired back. One was murdered. The other ended up in the hospital. Despite having sought psychiatric help a little over a month ago, which raises this whole other set of questions that we've talked about in the past with a couple of different psychiatrists about whether people who are taking SSRI drugs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, antidepressant drugs, might be, we know that they're at a higher risk for suicide, or are they at a higher risk for suicide by cop using the route of mass murder? And we don't know yet if that's the case with this young man. But the shooter, 34-year-old Aaron Alexis, was somehow able to get enough firepower to commit one of the worst mass murders in recent memory. Wayne LaPierre of the NRA will soon, no doubt, come out from under his rock and once again defend the total and unrestricted use of firearms. But, that shtick is getting old. More and more Americans are realizing, and, just kind of explicitly, it used to be kind of just a gut feeling or annoying, but now, I get it. It's time to stop listening to his clown show. And they're figuring it out. The LaPierre is just, he's paid $2 million a year to protect the profits of a multi-billion-dollar a year weapons of death industry. It's that simple. The gun manufacturing lobby and its front group, the NRA, go on and on and on about how the Second Amendment, which, by the way, in the North was designed to prevent a standing army during times of peace, and in the South was designed to protect the slave patrols, should give every American the right to own everything from a .38 revolver to an AR-15 assault rifle. But lost among all this talk about rights and liberties are the rights and liberties of the rest of us, the majority of Americans. We just want to live our lives safely and without the fear of gun violence, and without the fear of gun violence outside our homes or even inside our homes, by accident, by visitor, by little kid, by whatever. You got about twice as many suicides as homicides by gun every year in the United States. You've got every day some kid kills some other kid or kills himself by accident. I've used guns since I was a kid. They have their place in society. I'm not anti-gun. One of my brothers, the one who's closest to me in age, one of my brothers is an avid target shooter and owns several guns. And when I go back to Michigan, one of the things I really love to do is share time with my brother Steve and my nephew shooting targets in the range he has in his rural backyard. But my brother, like 90% of Americans, supports the assault weapons ban and the universal background checks, and for good reason. It's utterly and absolutely insane that weapons of war should be in the hands of crazed civilians in a developed nation like the United States. It's just that simple. Other countries with gun cultures just as ingrained as ours have figured this out. That's why after a brutal gun massacre in 1996, a mass murder by guns, Australia said, enough, and they banned semi-automatic and automatic weapons altogether. And that ban was successful. Australia had 13 gun massacres in the 18 years before the 1996 gun reforms. That was 1996. This is 2013. Was that 16 years? I can't do math in my head that fast. Seems like it. They have not suffered any mass shootings since. That's right. Australia banned the most dangerous kinds of guns, weapons of war. And that country is safer now. Australia also, by the way, has universal background checks for all gun purchases. We, the United States, have instead, at the behest of the multi-billion-dollar weapons industry, chosen to go the other route, the route of Somalia and South Sudan. Just this past weekend, 2 guys were arrested after waltzing into a farmer's market in Wisconsin with high-powered semi-automatic rifles strapped across their backs. They're now thinking of suing the cops who stopped them, right? Like the people there were like, what? I'm frightened. I don't want to. And they call the police. The police come and say, hey, you're scaring the people. Why don't you just go home? We're going to sue you. We got a right to walk around and scare the hell out of people. Where else would that happen except right here in the U.S. or in a war zone like South Sudan? I mean, I can understand it, right? In South Sudan. I was actually in South Sudan recently, a country that's been embroiled in civil war for a generation. And I suppose you can build a case for publicly carrying semi-automatic weapons in a country like that. I mean, after all, they got rebel groups that still periodically shoot up villages. But this is America, not South Sudan. We live in a developed country, not a war zone. And there's absolutely no reason to own an AR-15 or any other killing machine, even less of a reason to strap it on your back and strut around in public. I mean, the basic fact is that more guns, especially the more powerful guns, means more murders. A new study from the American Journal of Public Health looked at gun deaths in all 50 states between 1981 and 2010 and found that when you factor in all the other mitigating factors like race and poverty, it just came down to this. States with higher rates of gun ownership had disproportionately large numbers of deaths from firearm-related homicides. That's a verbatim quote from the study. Janice Orlowski, the trauma surgeon who treated some of the victims of the Navy Yard shooting, said that there's an evil in our society. Do we have time to play that? We don't. Okay, we'll play it when we come back. She's right. There is an evil in our society. And that evil is in the gun industry and its lobbying arm, the NRA, that continues to push for looser gun laws in the face of mounting evidence that lax firearm regulations and easy access to gun contributes to the death of thousands of innocent people every year. But not everybody thinks this is such a big deal. And that's just totally weird to me. I don't get it.